Hello everybody, today I'm here to share with you all the books I bought and acquired in March. So as always, there's a lot of books that I have. I'm so grateful for because I got a ton of really good books from publishers this month and I purchased a few, so let's get into it because I don't want this to be a super long video, even though it probably will be. So I did purchase 3 books this month. The first one obviously being The House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in a brand new series called Crescent City. Already read and reviewed this. If you want a spoiler-free review of it, I will leave a card right up here. Like I said, it's spoiler-free if you want to just figure out what the book is about, if you think you would like it or not, and my feelings about it, go check it out. Needless to say, I love this book. It is an adult paranormal fantasy, if you will. Has a whole bunch of vampires, werewolves, fae. Basically, we follow a character that is half human, half fae, and she's trying to figure out who murdered her best friend, and she's paired with an archangel, and together they make an unlikely team, and romance may ensue, and lots of other things. I loved it. It was amazing. Highly recommend. Next up, I purchased Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So this is one of his YA books. He's written a few of them. This is his YA sci-fi series called Skyward. I know that the sequel just came out not too long ago called Starsight. In this book, all I know, it's about a girl named Spencer whose world has been under attack for decades. Now pilots are the heroes of what's left of the human race, and becoming one has always been Spencer's dream, but her fate is intertwined with that of her father, a pilot himself who was killed years ago when he abruptly deserted his team, leaving Spencer's chances of attending flight school slim to none. No one let Spencer forget what her father did, yet fate works in mysterious ways. All I know is that I've read one of Brandon Sanderson's adult fantasy books and really enjoyed it, and I've heard really amazing things about this book, and I honestly need to read more sci-fi. I do really enjoy the genre, and I'm hoping to read this and love it and then read the sequel. I don't know if it's a duology, a trilogy, a series. I'm not sure. If you know, let me know, but either way, I've heard really good things about it. And the last book I bought was definitely on a whim. I just saw it and I just wanted it immediately, which doesn't have to be too often, but it's called The Neighbours by Nicola Gill. Sorry, it is very bright. So this book is about 2 women. One is 34. She rents a tiny flat alone because she recently found her long-term boyfriend in bed with her boss. And then her name is Jenny, and she feels like her neighbor could not get any worse. She meets her downstairs neighbor named Cassie Frost, who was once a beloved actress, but now she's a new publicist, and Jenny is a publicist who needs a job. So coincidentally, they team up. Jenny and Cassie are 2 different women, but they have more in common than they care to imagine or admit. And when their worlds collide, and they realize that sometimes, just sometimes, bad neighbors become good friends. I've heard this is really good, very heartwarming. I just love a lot of British chick lit. That's just my jam. So I'm hoping to really love this and adore it and recommend it because I've heard literally no one talk about it. Let's talk about ebooks, because I do purchase a few ebooks now and then, especially now with this time of shipping and things like that with the virus, obviously, understandably. I'm trying not to order a lot of books because I don't want to take away from more important shipments with medical stuff. Either way, I did purchase 3. That's a lot for me, ebooks. This month I purchased A Girl Like Her by Thalia Hibbert, which I've already read. I read it in the Backlist Readathon. If you want to hear my thoughts, check out that vlog, but I really enjoyed it. It's an adult romance and I liked it a lot. Then I also purchased Dark Lover by J.R. Ward, which I am currently reading. It is the first book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. It's an adult paranormal fantasy. Obviously, after Crescent City, I was like, I need all the adult paranormal fantasy, and I'm buddy reading it with Kristen over Super Space Chick. This series is like deep. It's like 17 or 18 books in. All I know, it's about vampires and it's steamy. That's all I need to know. Then I also bought Tessa Bailey's new book. I would show it to you, but my phone is charging in another room. Tessa, I didn't even know she had a new book coming out, but it's an adult paranormal fantasy about vampires and steaminess. That's all I know about it. I just immediately purchased it. So yeah, I guess you could say I purchased 6 books this month, which is a lot for me, but ebooks are way cheaper. So your girl bought them and I'm reading them and I'm liking them so far. So those are all the books I bought. Moving on now to all the books that I got sent by publishers. First one being Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Thalia Hibbert. This is the sequel companion novel to Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I read last year and really enjoyed. It's just an adult romance book, and this one we follow Chloe's sister, Danny Brown, and she meets a guy named Saphir, and they basically fake a relationship in public, seduce Zaf behind the scenes. The trouble is that he's secretly romantic and determined to corrupt Danny's stone-cold realism. I'm excited for it. This will be my 3rd Thalia Hibbert book. I really enjoyed her writing. I really enjoy her romance scenes. I'm just really excited for it. This one comes out in June, so keep your eyes peeled because this would be a great summer read. And the other one they sent me is Girl Gone Viral by Alicia Arrive, which is the sequel / companion novel to The Right Swipe. So in this one we follow the main character from The Right Swipe's best friend, and her name is Katrina, and she has an innocent conversation with a random guy at a coffee house. Then somebody has live tweeted the entire encounter with #CafeBay. And then she meets this bodyguard that offers protection for her and stuff because this is getting so out of hand and she's already kind of famous anyway, and then love ensues from there. I really enjoyed Right Swipe, a great rom-com. If you don't know, I love chick lit, rom-com, that's my jam, plus this cover is adorable. So needless to say, I got lots of like chick lit to fill up my shelves and read, and I'm very happy about it. Next up from Putnam, I have You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hoggle. I read this last month and I loved it. I requested it thinking I would like it, but I did not think I would fall in love with it. So this is actually in a Masher review, which I'll link up here as well. So this one is about Naomi, who has the perfect fiance, Nicholas, and you know, they've been together, they're in love. The only problem is she really can't stand him. They like kind of loathe each other. So Naomi's really wants to get out of the engagement because she just really loathes him. But the problem is that she really can't get out of the engagement because his family is paying for everything. And if she knows she gets out of the engagement, she's gonna have to foot the bill and she doesn't have the money. So what happened in this book is, that sounds weird, like why would you get engaged to someone that you really don't stand? And the whole book is about them coming to terms with maybe they're not in love with each other anymore. Maybe they have a lot of problems and they both start working on their relationship. They become friends again. They start to maybe fall in love again. And I just love that dissection of a relationship. I will tell you, Naomi is she needed growth in this book. Like, she was very just horrible in the beginning, in my opinion. Nicholas was no Rose either, even though his last name is Rose. I don't know why I said that. But they both had a lot of growing to do with each other, and I just really liked seeing that, honestly. So if you want to see a relationship kind of just fall apart and then try to put itself back together because they do desperately love one each other, I would recommend this book. I loved it. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. I thought it was phenomenal. I have the Happily Ever playlist. This one I am reading this month, as a matter of fact. It's about a character named Sloane who's 2 years ago, she lost her fiance and she's really not had any time to cope. She hasn't come to terms with it. And then she finds this dog randomly, and it actually helps her a ton being with this dog, and it makes her go outside and makes her, you know, kind of enjoy life again. And then with like, you know, finding this dog, she tries to put out, you know, hey, I have this dog, and it's been weeks and weeks and weeks. And then finally, the dog's owner gets in contact with her, and he is a musician in Australia, and he wants Tucker back. And so then it begins this kind of slew of like dogs and love and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds amazing, and it sounds so heartwarming, and I hope I love it. A little stack of books from Berkeley, because I love Berkeley so dearly. The first one is The Big Finish by Brooke Fossey. This is on my most anticipated springs list. This is kind of like A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Backman, which I love. So in this book, we have a character named Duffy, who is an old curmudgeon who lives in an assisted living home. And then we have Josie, a desperate young woman who climbs through his window. And they meet, and, you know, Duffy wants to go on this great adventure because he doesn't want to be stuck in an assisted living home for the rest of his life. And Josie's kind of young and wild, and they strike up a friendship, and they go on this big trip together. In a funny, insightful, and life-affirming debut, Brooke Fossey delivers an unflinching look at growing old, living large, and loving big, as told by a wisecracking man who didn't see any of it coming. It sounds freaking amazing. I hope it's gonna make me smile. It'll probably make me cry. It's gonna make me feel all the feelings. Then I have Always the Last to Know by Kristen Higgins. I have read a couple of her books before, and I really enjoy them. They're adults, contemporary, I would say. They're mostly kind of serious, I'm not gonna lie to you, with a hint of romance in them. In this book, we follow two sisters, Sadie, who has to come home to care for her dad, who's had a stroke. We also follow Juliet, who has to wonder if people will notice that despite her perfect life, she's spending an increasing amount of time in the closet having panic attacks. So it's all about them and also their parents dealing with it. So it's kind of like a family drama, if you will, and I tend to really enjoy those. And anything with like ceramic birds on the cover, I'm there for. I don't know why, I'm so obsessed with them. I have like 3 in my house. I don't know why. Then I also had the paperback copy of My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. I have already read and reviewed this. I really enjoy it. It's probably my favorite thriller, honestly. This one is about a couple that's been married for a while. They have 2 kind of, you know, teenage kids, and they're kind of just meandering with life, and they decide, hey, let's kill some people. Let's just do that for fun. Why not? And so that's how it goes. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's amazing. Twists and turns. I loved it. And the last one Berkeley sent me is Grown Up Pose by Sonia Lali, which I love the cover of this. Adulting shouldn't be this hard, especially in your 30s. It's about a character named Anu who's forced to look inside herself to become the strong, independent woman she has never had the chance to be. The kind of woman who would be proud to have her daughter follow in her footsteps. So I think it's all about that, dealing with her family, trying to grow up with the culture and everything. I can't wait. I haven't read anything by, oh, she wrote the Matchmaker's List. I meant to read that, and I still need to read that. Then I have the Emma Screenplay. Well, this is not by Jane Austen, the screenplay. The screenplay is by Eleanor Catton. I haven't read Emma, the book, and I have yet to read the screenplay. That I guess that this for a promotion for the movie, which I still need to see. Will I do that soon? I don't know. I'm behind on movies, but thank you. I have a whole nother stack of books from William and Mara. The first one being If I Never Met You by Mara McFarlane. So in this book we have Lori, who's been with a partner for over a decade, and they suddenly end things. She's left reeling, and not only because they work in the same law firm, she has to see him every single day. Then we also have Jamie, who doesn't believe in love, but he needs a respectable, steady girlfriend to impress their bosses. So I'm guessing that they're going to fake a relationship and then things will happen. I love a good fake dating trope any day of the week. And then I have Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend by Jenny Colgan. I've read a couple of her books before. I like them. I never really loved them, unfortunately. So this is about a character named Sophie who is London's it girl. She knows all the right people, wears all the right clothes, and her parents pay for everything. But deep down she suspects that her best friends and her posh lifestyle are nothing but shallow fakes. Then one evening Sophie's life takes a shocking, drastic turn when fate decides it's high time for the party girl to make her own way in the world. Forced to earn a meager living as a lowly assistant to a glamour photographer living in a flat with four smelly boys and eat baked beans from a can, Sophie is desperate to get her old life back at any cost. But does a girl really need diamonds to be happy? No, chocolate will do. That's just my opinion. Okay, the last stack I have is a whole stack from Simon Teen that I am stoked for. The first one being Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I love Rachel Lynn Solomon's books. She's written two. They're kind of YA hard-hitting books. This one does not sound like that at all, so I'm even more interested into it because it's kind of lighter, so I'm interested to see how she's going to do that. So we have Rowan and Neil, who have been bitter rivals for all of high school. While Rowan, who secretly wants to write romance novels, girl after my own heart, is anxious about the future, she'd love to beat her infuriating academic nemesis one last time. And then Neil, who's lame valedictorian, she has one chance at victory. Howl, a senior class game that takes them all over Seattle, a farewell tour of the city she loves. But after learning that a group of seniors is out to get them, she and Neil reluctantly decide to team up until the last players left, and then they'll destroy each other. But I'm guessing as time goes on, something's gonna happen. Books about Seattle. I really want to go to Seattle. Either way, I am so anticipating this. This one comes out in June. I cannot wait to read it. Another book that comes out in June is Deb Coletti's new book, Girl Unframed. I read A Heart in the Body in the World by her last year, and it was one of my favorite books of the year. So this book is about Sydney, who has a bad feeling about going home to San Francisco. Sydney's worries multiply when she discovers that her mom is involved with a dangerous Jake, an art dealer with shady connections. It's unnerving how beauty is complicated and objects have histories, and you can be looked at without ever being seen. And then something happens, changing on the stairs to the beach. A thrilling night that goes suddenly wrong. When loyalties are called into question and when Sydney learns a terrible truth, beautiful objects can break. I don't know if this is about like her mom in this relationship. Maybe it's abusive. Deb Coletti's last book, I don't know if she's going for the hard-hitting route now, which it sounds really interesting, and I really love her writing, so I am definitely checking that out for sure. Then we also have Sinan Menon's new book called 10 Things I Hate About Pinky. This is about Pinky and Samir. Again, another fake dating. He gets a text from Pinky asking if he'll be her fake boyfriend in exchange for a new internship. As they bicker their way through lighthouses and butterfly habitats, spark fly, and they both realize that this will be a summer they'll never forget. I don't know if this is a take on 10 Things I Hate About You. I feel like the title is very reminiscent of that. If so, I'm really excited about it because my favorite movie of all time is 10 Things I Hate About You. I've said that repeatedly. Will always do. Then I have another book that's coming out in June, I Killed Zoe Spanos by Kit Frick, and all I know about this book is the tagline, and that's immediately what sold it. For fans of Sadie and Serial comes a gripping thriller about a missing girl, a shocking confession, and a podcast looking for answers. And that's all I'm going to tell you. So this is another podcast book. If that's your jam, like myself, I would recommend checking out this book even though I haven't read it. I love the podcast aspect when it comes to thrillers especially. I feel like they just go together hand in hand. I can't wait to check it out. There's only been a couple thrillers, YA thrillers that I loved, and Sadie was one of them. Then I have Don't Ask Me Where I'm From by Jennifer DeLeon, and this one is about a girl named Liana who she has to put up a wall all the time, and she must choose, use this foundation as a platform to speak up or risk the wall that's been crumbling on top of her. So she creates this wall around her because she's at the school, because she can't ever be herself, because she says she can't just lighten up, she has to whiten up, or so she thinks. So it's going to be obviously about dealing with that and dealing with racism probably, and just people judging you by the color of your skin, which is horrible. So I'm hoping this book is going to teach me a lot that I always need to learn from, honestly. I have a finished copy of We Are the Wildcats by Siobhan Vivian. This is about a girls field hockey team, and it takes place in one night, and I think they go wild with their new coach, and things maybe turn into a thrilling aspect as well. I have to check this one out for sure. Behind it, I also have Keep My Heart in San Francisco by Amelia D. Dion Coombs. This one comes out in June as well. This is about Caroline, who has big plans for spring break. She learns that her dad is way behind on rent and they might be leaving San Francisco, and she doesn't want that. She teams up with her ex-boyfriend Beckett. Then they have a plan to make serious cash infiltrating the Bay Area action bowling scene, so that she can make cash and her family can stay there. That's interesting and cute. Bowling, love, all that adorable stuff. And then I have We Were Magic by Sarah Galley. This cover is everything. It gives me the craft vibes. This is magic. How can I explain what it's like? It's like that feeling when you've been cooped up inside all day and then you finally go outside and remember what fresh air tastes like. It's like when you get up in the middle of the night, your mouth is gross and dry, and you take a drink of water and the water is sweet. It's like watching someone dive into a pool without leaving a ripple. It's like waking up. So I'm guessing all these girls do magic and things are gonna happen. Maybe it's like the craft thing. Yeah, when accidental magic goes sideways and a boy winds up dead. There you go. Very reminiscent. So those are all the books I had to share with you guys. A lot, I know. I'm sorry again if I didn't explain any of them properly. I need to research them more and things like that. But right now, with school being out and stuff like that, with having my kid here all day, all the time, I don't have a ton of time, honestly. So either way, I hope that I maybe introduced you to a book that you might be very, very interested in and put it on your list to check out in these coming months. I would love to hear. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.